Good morning, everyone. My name is Tamika Miller, and I am the vice president. Wishful thinking, huh? I am the vice president of marketing and program development for the Greater New Haven Chamber. And I'm here today to talk to you about the Leadership Center, Leadership Greater New Haven. This is an open house. So good morning. We'll get started in a few minutes. Good morning again. My name is Tamika Miller. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Program Development with the Greater New Haven Chamber. Today is September 28th, and I'm happy to bring to you our Leadership Center Open House 2021 to 2022. To kick things off, I'm going to introduce our President and CEO, Garrett Sheehan. He's going to just come share with you a few quick remarks. And then I will proceed with the rest of the open house presentation. There'll be opportunities for you to share questions that you have. You can place the questions in the chat, or if you'd like, you can raise your hand and we will allow you to speak and ask your questions directly. So without further ado, Garrett, if you'd like to come on camera, and welcome everyone.
Great, thanks Tamika, and thank you everyone for joining us. We're here to talk about the leadership programs, as Tamika mentioned, and really a great opportunity for you to get more involved in the community in business leadership for our region. You may be advancing within your company, may already be at a high position within your company. What we hope that this program does, while it will give you some tips and opportunities to improve yourself within your own business, we really hope that it connects you with the region, shows you ways that you can lead, gives you a lot of information about what's going on. At the Chamber, we're always talking about how can we do a better job of leading, and when I say we, the business community. And so for us, it's about building that deep bench of business leaders who can step up, advocate on positions, advocate for the business community. And this is really the opportunity to do that and to connect in and advance your career. We also hope it's a lot of fun along the way, and from everything that I've heard of all of our participants over the last many years, it's a great time. They really enjoy it. Tamika's going to talk through it. We make adjustments for COVID. We were able to conduct the entire program last year despite dealing with the pandemic. That was a real testament to all of the participants, to our staff, Shayna, everyone who worked on it. And I know that we're going to make it through this year. This year should be hopefully even a little bit easier than what we had to do last year. We're still able to make it interactive and still give you lots of opportunities to connect with your team members. And again, at the end of the day, that's where you get the best value, is the people that you meet, the people that you're able to connect with. So hope you enjoy the program we have today. If you have questions at the end, feel free to reach out to me. Tamika will give information on how you can sign up, or if we can reach out to other folks as well, but I'm always open to answer questions about the program as well. So thanks again for joining. Tamika, I'll hand it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Garrett. So here's the agenda for today, for this morning. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the Leadership Center and, of course, Leadership Greater New Haven, which is why you specifically are here, as that program starts very soon. We'll talk about all of the summary and we'll give you a summary of all of the different things that you're going to be learning during this program. So you'll have an orientation to the region. You'll learn different perspectives on leadership skills. We'll hear from Alumni Testimonials, and we'll talk about a hands-on experience and project that all the members of the class will complete this year. We'll also have some more testimonials from alumni. Then we'll talk about DE&I immersion, that's diversity, equity, and inclusion immersion. We're proud to be doing that again this year. We'll finish up by reviewing the program schedule. We'll talk about safety practices and our policy with COVID. As Garrett just alluded to, we will be flexible and we are monitoring everything closely. And for day one, I'll give you an idea of what to expect for day one. That's the experiential day. Really, it's a team bonding day and a strong foundational day to the entire program. You'll get a chance to meet your program coordinator. This will be your eyes and ears, your key contact person that will navigate you throughout the entire leadership program. And then at the end, we'll have just a few more housekeeping details and then Q&A. But as I mentioned in the beginning, incidentally, if you have any questions or concerns along the way, you do not have to wait until the end. You can raise your hand by using the raise hand feature, and Madison Caruso on our staff will bring you forward, or you can make comments in the chat. Okay, so let's get started. So the Leadership Center is home to both programs. We have Leadership Greater New Haven and the Executive Orientation. These two programs offer aspiring community leaders and business executives leadership training and community education so that you can serve as catalysts for change. And those are the two words that I really want to stress here, three words that I want to stress here: catalysts for change in the region. We know there's been, obviously, given where we are, constant change, lots of disruption. You know, I don't know about you, but I've come to realize that's just kind of life in general. But we believe that leaders will be equipped and prepared to handle that. And so we will arm you with the training, refresh training for some of you who've already been through a program similar to this, and then give you some education in our community. We're very proud. We've been doing this program for over 35 years, and we have over 1,000 alumni so far, and they are scattered near and far. So very, very proud of this track record. We are very equally as proud of the relationship that we have with the Regional Water Authority. They are our presenting sponsor and have been so for many, many years. And they, along with our advisory council, has really helped us put together a really dynamic program for you that we feel, as the slide says, will offer practical, relevant, real-world curriculum to help you as a thriving business leader know what you need to know. Now on to specifically Leadership Greater New Haven. So this program is a 6-session program for professionals of all levels working in the corporate, nonprofit, or government sectors. I always like to pause and say that because people say, well, I'm not sure, you know, given what I do, if this program is appropriate for me. It is. It's all levels, and literally you can work in any industry, and I bet you will find some input or value that you can glean from this program. This slide just gives you an overview again of the many buckets or areas of focus that you will receive at Leadership Greater New Haven. So we're going to touch upon leadership strategies, and you will all receive your own copy of the Leadership Challenge book, and there's more to come in the next few slides. Again, we'll spend a great deal of time orientating you to the Greater New Haven region. So if you are new in your role, or if you're new in the area, or if you've been here for a while and you just feel like you need to get grounded again and get connections again, this is a perfect platform and a program for you to do that. Also, I mentioned earlier, if you have been through leadership development programs in the past, and it's been some time, and you feel like you need just sharpening of some of your soft skills or professional skills, we will definitely have facilitators and speakers address public speaking and personal branding. By personal branding, I mean, like, who do you stand for? Who is Tamika Miller? Who is Madison Caruso? Who is Garrett Chan? So who do you stand for? And how do you represent yourself? Effective business communications. So often, as we read communications here and there, I'm sure, you know, it's difficult sometimes to deliver bad news in an email. So we'll talk to you about how to do that. We'll talk to you about how to just navigate communications in any sort of crisis setting or any sort of difficult situation. So we'll definitely address that. And then team management, whether you're an individual contributor or you work for, or you have people working for you, we all tend to work in teams and we all have to collaborate with each other. So team management is a core concept that we'll address. As I mentioned earlier, diversity, equity, and inclusion. we will really be immersed in that. And I have more details on that coming up. Then there will be an element of what I call hands-on application. So throughout the program, as you're learning all the concepts that I just enumerated, you will also have an opportunity to take those key concepts and put them into practice right away during the program. It does require a time commitment beyond the times that we are meeting. But again, I will touch on that in more detail a little later on. And at the end of this, as Garrett alluded to earlier, we hope that you have fun and that you develop long-lasting connections throughout this program. And I think you will. And you'll hear from our alumni in a few moments. So transitioning to orientation to the region, this quote here says, although I have lived in the greater New Haven area most of my life, I felt as though I was introduced to new ways of thinking about the life, vitality, and issues of concern for the area. So this was a direct verbatim quote from one of our graduates of the program. And this photo is, I think, from the class of 2019, as they were touring the plant at Assa Abloy, which is in the Long Wharf area. So I want to just reiterate here that whether it's through tours or visits to a company or having various speakers come and speak to the class, you will walk away from this program with a really strong orientation to the region. You will understand the resources that are available, some of the key dynamics, the political landscape. You'll hear directly from legislators. You'll hear directly from key influencers. You'll hear about also, quite honestly, some of the challenges of doing business in the region. So by the time you leave this program, we feel very confident that you will definitely be more well-versed than when you started, and understanding, sort of how things work and how business can be facilitated here in the region. Within that, you will have the opportunity to meet what I call sometimes, sort of as I'm joking around, I like to say Connecticut royalty. Connecticut royalty. These are just examples of some of Connecticut's royalty. So this program in the past has really had an opportunity to bring very impressive speakers to come and speak to this class. In the past, as you can see, we've had CEOs of companies, we've had authors, deans, chief administrative officers of the city of New Haven, and executive leaderships of some of our largest employers within the region. So each of these types of people will be able to come and speak as facilitators during the leadership program, and they will either give you a perspective on their leadership experiences, climbing the ranks, as it were, or they'll share with you what they know about specifically given about the region. So all of that, all those details will be made clear to you throughout the program. We'll be sending out agendas, and so you'll know who's going to be speaking on what topic. But I wanted to share with you that this is a great way of meeting, again, what we call New Haven area influencers. So this is the book. This book, The Leadership Challenge, really kind of focuses and anchors the leadership program. And if you haven't read this book, I'm excited to be able to share this with you now. If you join the program, we will be giving this book to you. So you won't have to purchase it yourself, we'll give it to you. And as you can see, it's called The Leadership Challenge, How to Make Extraordinary Things Happen in Organizations. We've been using this book for, I think, the last 3 or 4 years. And it really is, a bestseller for obvious reasons, because the content and information in it really transcends time. And so we're going to be exploring 5 of these leadership practices, model the way. This all talks about being prepared to sort of go first and model the way in your behavior as a leader. We'll talk about inspire a shared vision. So this is specifically when you want to motivate a team by sharing a great idea, or you have a great idea, you're using, the point is using great ideas, not fear, to lead a team. The third one is challenge the process. This addresses sort of risk-taking and understanding that if you fail, you can actually fail up. It's an opportunity, a failure is an opportunity to innovate and reinvent yourself or fix the problem or fix the project. So that's challenge the process. And enable others to act. This one speaks to the empowerment of others and collaboration as a team. And then the last one is encourage the heart. And this speaks to recognizing your passion, recognizing the passion of others on your team, and really helping people operate in that passion. So we'll have a facilitator who will go through each of these 5 practices. And then we will have facilitators come and share their perspectives of each of these 5 practices. And in past years, here are some of the speakers who share their unique perspectives on each of the 5 leadership practices. So again, you can see we really do have a good variety of folks coming to speak to you from all different industries and backgrounds. So example here, we've got Howard Cahill. He's the owner of Howard Cahill Funeral Services. Heather Latora, President and CEO of Marrakesh. Paul McCraven, as you can see, Anne Marie Knight, Jean Christensen, Anne Marie Jones, and Janine Rechtenwald. So these were speakers from last time. But again, some of these might be repeated, or you will have different speakers coming to speak to you. And each of them will share their perspective on the leadership practices. I'll pause now and just see if there are any questions that we have so far. Okay. And now it's time for alumni testimonials. So I am going to stop sharing my screen momentarily, and I'm now going to introduce Alfred. Alfred Guante. He was a member of the class of 2021. Yes. So Alfred, can you please share just your thoughts on the experience of the program?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. And, thank you for considering the program. I think it's a great program. I'm sure my fellow colleagues would agree. As I think about the program itself, having done other leadership programs, there was one stark difference, and that's the fact that they involve people from all over the community. Having been in higher ed for 16 years, a lot of the leadership programs I did just involved everyone else in higher ed. So this gave me an opportunity to really, really connect with the community at large and different sectors in the city of New Haven and the New Haven County in general. So that was great. One of my favorite parts was how people kind of approach everything with an open mind and an open heart. One example of that was the diversity presentations we had, where people really just did not hold back. They had very, very thoughtful, respectful, and passionate conversations about diversity and what that means for society and why it's so important. So really just nothing but the best things to say about this program. One big takeaway that I have from the program in particular, and something I always knew but was confirmed by doing this program, was that leadership is in the mind. To Tamika's point, there were people from all sorts of levels and all sorts of industries. But when they spoke with conviction. When you worked with them in a group, they were excellent to work with, and you knew right away that they were leaders. So I implore you to really, really not take a look at your title, but more take a look at your growth opportunity, and definitely consider this program. It's a wonderful program. I'm still in touch with, you'll hear from Shannon. I'm still in touch with Shannon. Nick, once in a while, we exchange some messages, and we're working with some other folks that were in the program doing some cool things in the city. So nothing but the best things to say about this program. So kudos to you for even being here and listening to it and hearing about it. And I wish you all the best of luck, but I know you'll enjoy the program. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alfred. Now we will have Shannon. Shannon, if you'd like to share a few words with us and talk about your experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Alfred took all my my speaking point. Hi, Alfred. But yeah, what Garza, what Tamika said, what Alfred said, I mean, for me, a lot of the value was in that connection and having those meaningful, authentic conversations, again, with a real cross-section of business and philanthropic community leaders. So like Alfred, I've done many of these things, but it's often with people who are already in my field or in my industry. And so this was a great chance to meet new people across the city. I've been here 10 years, and but I did get to meet new people and learn about new organizations and businesses. And also say that it was also great to work with people with different work styles and to challenge my own work style and how I work with others, because in my job, you get into a sort of a pattern. So it's good to have this sort of safe space sandbox where we're all learning, we're all working, we're all trying new things. So I found that really valuable as well. So again, I'm a little jealous of folks who get to start the program, and excited for all the great things that I know you'll do, and to hopefully meet you in the summer as we all are alumni. So thank you, Tamika. Thank you all. If there's any questions, I'm available here and also after the fact, certainly to reach out.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, Shannon. We're going to proceed now with the rest of the presentation, and then you'll hear from one more of our alumni members in a few moments. So resharing my screen here. Okay, I want to spend some time on this slide because this is, again, a great feature of the program, I think. This feature really focuses and gives class members an opportunity to, again, take the leadership competencies that you've been learning and all of your experiences, quite honestly, along the way, and apply it to a real world project or problem. So we invite small for-profit organizations or non-for-profit organizations to submit a strategic challenge. We vet the challenges to make sure they are smart and measurable, actionable, that they can be achieved within this leadership program 6 months time frame. And then these companies come and present to you. So you will have an opportunity to hear directly what the strategic challenges are from these companies. And then you will select the company that you would like to work on. So class members, as you can see here, are divided into teams. And you will select the company that you would like to help solve the challenge of. And then you will have the opportunity to meet with your smaller class teams on a regular basis. So you'll decide your own schedule, and you'll have an opportunity, of course, to meet with a representative from the company that you're working with. And throughout the program, you're literally working back and forth. I've been through the leadership program myself, and I just want to stress here, there is a time commitment. I don't want to scare anyone off for sure, but I don't want to have anyone sort of misunderstand. You literally will have a team, small team of people. I would say you might have 4 to 5 people, depending on the size of the class, on a team. So it's definitely manageable. So you all will gel and work together really well. And then, as I said, you select your company, you're off and running. And then you have an opportunity to present your findings, your final presentation to the company itself, and then present your findings to the entire chamber community during the graduation, which is typically in March of every year. So again, I'm excited about this feature, and I would love Nick, who is our who is an alum of the program, to now share with you. So I'm going to stop sharing and let Nick share with you his perspective specifically on this project. So Nick.
Good morning, Tamika. Thank you. My name is Nick Onembo, and I work at Yale University, and I am a recent graduate of the program. And the training is awesome. The speakers are phenomenal. But what really did it for me was the opportunity to participate in one of these projects. And we broke up into a team. There were 4 of us, and we worked with Aces Shines, which their goal was to establish a mobile shoe shine business. So we pretty much did the soup to nuts on building a business for them. We did a profit and loss. We talked about some marketing. We were able to work with Aces folks with the first selectman of North Haven to put together a public service announcement. We identified the need for a marketing intern, and they're working to hire a marketing intern. And to this day, I'm still working with ACES on their mobile shoe shine business, and I'm still keeping in touch with my classmates. And a week or so ago at the Hamden Fest, the ACES Shine mobile van was out there, and they're ready to ramp up their business. We have a law firm that's going to pilot for them. And so if you have some shoes you need shining, look for the van around the town, and feel free to ask any questions of me. But please note, this was probably the most exciting part of the class, actually taking what we learned in the class and applying it to an actual business or an organization that needed our help. So thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Nick. Very, very good. I'm glad he was able to share with you specific example with all of you here. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. And now I will be talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion concepts. So this program, throughout this program, you'll have an opportunity through 5 specific modules to really explore these concepts. So the facilitator will just really define at a very basic level what is meant by diversity, what do we mean when we talk about equity, and what are some ways that we can bring about inclusion in the workplace, despite your level. So sometimes people think, well, I really can't impact these areas if I'm an individual contributor, if I don't have direct reports, I don't have a team, or I have my own business. People think sometimes erroneously that there's no way that they can impact diversity, equity, and inclusion. So the facilitator will work to explain to you how you can, at all levels, all industries, how you can impact all 3 of these concepts. You'll have a session all about inclusive leadership. And then there'll be an opportunity to be immersed in the business community. So we'll either have a tour or again, have a series of speakers and business owners who are either women-owned, minority-owned, come and speak to the class. There is a specific workshop on how to identify microaggressions. So if you haven't heard that term before, it is a common diversity, equity, inclusion term. And you'll be able to understand what those are. These are sometimes so subtle that you may or may not be aware that you're using them, or that you're promoting them, or that others are sort of using this behavior around you. But by the end of the workshop, you'll be able to kind of really have sort of a keener ear and an eye for some of these, what we call microaggressions. There will be a session also on inclusive economic growth. That's definitely a topic that's near and dear to my heart. This says that everyone can grow together. And so we will be delving in that. And then, as I alluded to earlier, one of the companies, projects that you work on could be owned by a minority. So a person of color, or a woman, or anyone else who falls within that minority-owned cohort area. So it's no guarantee that the companies that you work with will be, but there's an opportunity. Our goal is to make sure that you get as much exposure to these business owners as much as possible. Here's the schedule that I'm sure you all have been waiting for. So for those of you who have already signed up for the program, these dates are not a surprise to you. But for those of you who are still considering the program, it meets, as I mentioned earlier, 6 different times, starting on Wednesday, October 20th, and we go all the way to February 9th. And then the graduation is tentatively scheduled for probably the 3rd Thursday in March, but we will have to confirm, of course, along the way. But these are the dates. So I'm going to again pause here and see if there are any questions or comments from anyone. Okay. Oh, I do see we have one question. Let's see what this question is. What is a mix of in-person and virtual? Great question. I actually think that might be in a slide coming up, but I will just answer that for you here. So the mix of virtual and in-person. Right now, this program is scheduled to be in person for all 6 of these sessions. However, when we pull the class together, the final class, after everybody's registered and we have the final class members together, we will determine and do what is best for the majority of members of the class. We will also monitor, quite honestly, the news and be very in close contact with the city of New Haven and listen to the CDC and make decisions as to whether or not we'll rotate. So it's a possibility that we might rotate and have one session in person and another session virtually. So that's also a possibility. So the plan again is to meet now 100% in person, but we will closely monitor that, and we will then definitely take into consideration the desires of the final class members, once we get everybody together. And we'll probably address that right away on day 1, on the very first day. I do see one other question here. What happens if we need to miss a class due to work conflict? Very great question. That happens often. We've had 18 to 20 members in the class in the past, and throughout the 6 months, somebody has to miss. And so what you do is, if the class is virtual, we record the sessions, and I can send you the virtual recording, and you'll be given all the literature and information from the facilitators. If we are meeting in person, obviously, we're not going to be able to record the session, but I can definitely give you, or the program coordinator, who you'll be introduced to in a few minutes, the program coordinator will give you all of the information that you need to know. So you never feel that you're going to have to miss everything. And then, of course, your teammates, as you start developing bonds with your teammates, other people in your class, they can also fill you in and give you some of the color commentary from what you missed. Any other questions at this time? Okay. So, just as a questions just answered here a few minutes ago, but this is in writing, so all of you can read it. So all the sessions, again, are planned to be in person. I have planned in italics intentionally, because as I just mentioned, we will definitely consider the needs and desires of the class, and we will definitely monitor all of the situations accordingly. Masks, if we do meet in person, will be required, except for when we are outdoors. And of course, hand sanitizer will be made available. If you need more masks, that will be available. We will make sure that we have no buffets or any sort of shared food stations. So some days we will provide meals from you. If we're in person, we will provide meals for you. We will provide breakfast and lunch. Obviously at no charge to you, that's part of the program, but we'll make sure those are individually wrapped so that safer for you. Social distancing will definitely be enforced, and attendance will be taken just for any sort of tracking if needed, and just so we can know where everybody is. So I just wanted to make sure that you all know this. Any other questions about this particular topic while we're here? Okay, not seeing any. Moving on. So this is really designed to give you a feel for your first day in the leadership program. It's all about experiences and team building. And I was part of the leadership class of 2018, and you can see me there in the center. I don't exactly remember what the challenge was, but I remembered really having a great time with my class. This was the entire class. And we were at the time at the Hopkins School on the Adam Krieger ropes course. And we spent the entire day out there, and we really had a great time of first just getting to know each other, because we're all from different companies, different backgrounds, different levels. So we really had a good, I really had a great time here. And then we spent time with a series of different team building activities to really inspire trust in each other and address conflict resolution, problem solving, and negotiation. So by the time, again, you're done with this first day, you will have discovered more about yourself, others around you, and definitely the environment around you. So it's really, really a strong day. It's really, I think, a foundational day of the entire program because it really sets the stage and sets the tone. Here is your program coordinator. So Shayna Schneider could not be with us today, but she definitely wanted me to share with you that she's looking, very much looking forward to working with all of you in the program. As I alluded to earlier, she as program coordinator will be your eyes and ears and to any sort of the day-to-day questions. I will definitely be sort of in the background, scheduling things and updating Shayna. But if you need someone to bounce an idea off as you're working on your project with your company, or if there's any issue that arises, Shayna will be very ready to help you. She's been our program coordinator, I believe, this is her could be third or fourth year. And she's the founder of Fit Style. She has her own business, Fit Style. And she's going to be talking about throughout the program about just some ways that while you're in the leadership program, you can also stay fit, keep your mind sort of in a healthy mental health capacity. And she also is a great motivational speaker and an author. So I think you're going to have a really, really good time with Shayna as a program coordinator. We've come to the end of my slides, and these are just a few details that I wanted to share with you, and then I'll pause again at the end for questions. We will want to know, so you'll be given a form to fill out if you have any food allergies or dietary restrictions, because again, if we're meeting in person, we'll be providing meals for you, breakfast and lunch. So we want to make sure to order food that's going to be healthy for you. We'll also be taking photos. So we'll want to have your permission to photograph the program so that we can use it for future professional projects. And at the end of each session, we always want to know how we're doing. So we will gauge what you're thinking all the way through. So you'll be given some online surveys throughout the program. And at the end of each session, we ask you to return them to us. And then you'll be given also next day information. So as I mentioned to you, you'll have the agenda, you'll know which speakers are coming to talk about which topics. You'll be given access to all of the tools and handouts and reading lists that the facilitators have for you. They'll also be sharing with you their favorite leadership book. So you can add this to your business library. And any handouts directly from me or the chamber or from Shayna, or any advice on TED Talks that you can watch, all that will be shared with you. And then anything else will be available in a Google Doc form. So it's easy to have and file away for another opportunity. And so that's really the end of the presentation today. So we have a moment now to pause for additional questions. So anything else that you'd like to talk about? Okay, I'm not seeing anything in the Q&A or chat, so I will pause here and end our session. But to let all of you know, if you do have questions that you didn't want to ask now, you can definitely give me a call. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to put my information in the chat for everyone. It really is, again, cannot say it enough, a really, really good program to join. So I'm going to put my information here. It's 203-782-4337 if you'd like to give me a call. And my email address is tmiller@gnhcc.com. And so now you have my email in the chat as well. So thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you at another chamber event or hopefully at Leadership Greater New Haven. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.